Hello and welcome to Perspectives. A very dear friend of mine was on TV last night, not last night, 3 nights ago, and he was saying, we need to solve Pakistan's problem, education. We need to solve terrorism, education. And I was just sitting and watching. He keeps on talking about education. We have an education deficit. We have an education emergency. We have education problems. We do not have schools. We do not have colleges. We don't have universities. We've got millions and millions of children who don't even go to school. So if that is the formula, then I guess we are in trouble, because if education is going to solve everything, then is Pakistan in dire straits, because we can't educate so many people. And if we're not educating people, then we are not solving our problems. We're not solving poverty. We're not solving terrorism. But the question is education in Pakistan in trouble? Are we educating people or not? Are we using modern techniques to educate people or not? Are we still relying on slates and sketchboards and sketch pads and chalk and whatever else we used 100 years ago? Or are we employing computers, e-learning, video learning, remote learning, all the lovely buzzwords the world is full of today? Is Pakistan benefiting from all of that or not? I will not waste any time. My time is short today because the guest is so brilliant and has so much to say. My very dear friend, Pakistan's hero, star, scientist, professor, chemist, academician, award winner, ex-minister, Professor Atta-ur-Rehman. Thank you very much for being here. And a gentleman I just met for the first time a few minutes ago. Has been a brilliant experience. In 5 minutes, I've fallen in love with him. Somebody with wit, humor, and he calls himself Robin Hood, a man who is doing great service to Pakistan, Mr. Haider Mehdi, who is the director of Pi TV. And that Pi is not P-I-E, that is P-I Pi. That's a lovely Pi.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for taking this.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Both of you gentlemen have launched something a few days ago, which is about video conferencing, video learning. So please tell us where this came from and where it has reached.
Well, thank you very much. Firstly, let me start with this story, which began some 10 years ago when I was the Minister for Science and Technology, which included at that time information technology and telecommunications. And during the 2.5 years that I had there, I had the opportunity of spreading internet very rapidly from some 29 cities to 1,000 towns, cities and villages, fiber from 40 cities to more than 500 cities, placing Pakistan's first satellite in space, PakSat-1, and bringing the bandwidth prices down from a ridiculous $87,000 a month for a 2 megabit line, would you believe it, down to just a couple of $1,000s, and now it's about $900. So these are the knowledge highways, far more important than the road highways that we travel upon, because trade, commerce travels on these highways. And then establishing the Pakistan Educational Research Network, because today technology has opened up doors that didn't exist a decade ago, and we can leapfrog using these technologies. So the Pakistan Educational Research Network became the platform on which we launched our digital library through the Higher Education Commission. I then moved to the HEC, where I was its founding chairman, and the digital library then provided some 65,000 textbooks from 220 international publishers and some 25,000 international journals with back volumes. A huge repository of knowledge was created for free access nationwide to all the students in universities in Pakistan. And in the second phase of this program, there is 1 gigabit connectivity to every university, and then 10 gigabit connectivity to loops around major cities with dark fiber on which there is no commercial traffic going to specialized research centers. We also then set up a video conferencing facilities, a network of video conferencing facilities across Pakistan. So every public sector university today has several video conferencing facilities, and lectures are delivered live and interactively from Harvard or MIT or Cambridge or Oxford, with students in Pakistan attending across Pakistan in different fields.
So what we're saying is a kid in Punjab University or Karachi University or Peshawar University is actually receiving lectures from Harvard and MIT.
And asking questions and getting responses from the professors at MIT or Harvard or Cambridge or wherever the professor is lecturing from.
Brilliant.
And these are now complete courses, not just taught lectures. We have had more than 2,000 lectures delivered in the last 3 years, 2.5 years.
Brilliant.
And these are followed by exams under the supervision of the foreign professor. And those students who pass these exams, their credits are recognized by the universities concerned. So, in my opinion, we are probably the best connected country in the world today, with live video conferencing courses going on in every university in the country, in the public sector, and benefiting from the top professors, because we had created this platform on which this could be done. And then we started working on what could we do to move to the next, how do we change gears and move to the next phase. And that is what the recent work came in. There is an enormous amount of material available on the internet. These are called the massive online courses, the MOOCs as they are called, the massive open online courses. So some years ago I had set up the mirror website of MIT Open Courseware. So all the MIT courses were available in Pakistan. We had made 10,000 CDs of these and distributed them to the universities as well after doing some editing. And then in the meanwhile, in the last 3 years particularly, some very exciting programs have come on the scene internationally. Firstly, you have a program called Coursera, which is a Stanford University initiative. And there are literally millions of students now benefiting from Coursera. There is another one which is Udacity, which is a joint initiative between Stanford and some other universities. There's a third one called edX, which is a Harvard University, MIT, Pennsylvania, and a US company called 10Gen, which are involved. There is a fourth one, which is the Khan Academy, which is at school level, and this is based in California. And they have about 8,000 courses, and about 2,000 of them have been dubbed in Urdu, and they are dubbing others in other languages and also in Urdu. And in addition to these, there are courses available. There are a few other programs. There is a consortium of British universities, which is FutureLearn, which is also providing. So what we have done is we have developed a meta search engine within our institute, and this then sorts out through all these courses. We are integrating them. At the moment, they are scattered in different websites. You have to enroll and register and so on. We have obtained permissions from these organizations to provide free video facilities, download all them and provide them through video television or through the internet to the public for a program across Pakistan. And we are integrating them, arranging them according to their levels, and then that is when out of the blue came Mr. Haider Mehdi, like an angel from heaven, along with Mr. Javed Pasha, and said, "Can you help us? This is what we want to do." And I said, "Well, the Lord is lucky. What else could I have paid for?"
Light is shining upon
me. The light is shining upon me. And so yesterday, it was a historic day, I feel, in the educational development of Pakistan, where we signed an agreement together. We means my center in Karachi, the International Center for Chemical and Biological Sciences, signed an agreement with PI, the company here, to project these programs, broadcast these programs across Pakistan, initially and later on, inshallah, across the world. So this is where things have gone so far, and I'm really excited about this. I think of all the things that I've done in my life, this may well be the one that is going to make the maximum difference to the future children of Pakistan.
That's a lot to say.
That's a lot to say, and I'm really excited.
Given the fact that, mashallah, what you've done, you're saying this is the
I feel that this is going to be the turning point for education in Pakistan. If we can provide high quality education to schools, colleges and universities, the entire fate of the country can change. And if you are talking about a knowledge economy, then this is the way forward. You have to provide quality education at all levels.
Mr. Mehdi, angelic you look.
Thank you.
But I don't believe there's
the devil inside.
There's the devil inside you. So what's the devilish angle in all of this, and what are you planning to do with Dr. Saab, and what's this delivery mechanism?
Okay. Well, first of all, let me tell you, I'm not an educationist, and I have no pretensions of being one. I think there was just a passion and a desire that everyone talks about education, but you really got to put it in perspective and put it in a model that works. I have been associated with technology. I used to be in Pakistan, and I remember those days when we launched a phone in 92,000 rupees. We were talking of customers in tens of thousands, and it's 125 million operating SIMs in the country. No one, honestly, when we used to project a 1 million customer base, it was our software up here would break down. There are 8 million, pata nahi kab aayenge, maybe 20, 50 or 80. So technology has its own ways.
Exponential.
It is, and believe me, no one can project what happens and how it will happen.
Sure.
And I kept saying, we were at this ICT Fund meeting, and I said, listen, we're trying to do free education across the internet, free TV, we'll call it free education TV, free internet TV, free internet education TV, call it whatever you want. But the objective is very simple. The objective is to use technology to provide quality teaching and quality content to everybody who needs it and everybody who thinks he doesn't even need it. For example, and so it's a pyramid. You can start from the elitist schools. You can start from the Center of Advanced Study, you can start with the beacon houses of the world, etc. And you go down the pyramid and you reach the people who don't even have internet access. So that's the pyramid we want to address. Now, internet is a phenomenal platform. Because we're not educationists, we have the technology platform, but we're very committed to bringing about this change. The first person, as soon as we got the license, by the way, this is a formal license from the government of Pakistan, PEMRA, and PTA to actually launch internet education on the internet. And Javed Pasha, who I actually call a futurist in terms of technology. I mean, this is the guy in 1988 who actually had the fax machine removed from the banned list. I mean, can you imagine banning a fax machine? And today I was hearing a discussion about we need to have a software that will filter YouTube content so YouTube can be opened. I mean, how pathetic can that discussion be, which actually is trying to, which आप ना एक मग से आप पानी वापस भेज रहे हैं ocean का जो.
But beyond that, when you say education free coming out to people, there has to be a monetization formula. How will you?
तो पहले मैं आपको एक मॉडल बता दूं कि मॉडल क्या है. मॉडल क्या है कि इसके 3 aspects हैं. There's K to 12.
Right.
And there's college, undergrad, and there is of course postgrad. And what we've discovered in of course in our discussion about जो college है, undergrad, grad है और higher education, उसमें actually content की इतनी problem नहीं है.
Alright.
And as it is wonderful content available, world class. The problem is in K to 12, which is also a problem here. So there is there's a chicken and egg. And the Khan Academy, for example, which has 3,900 videos, of which 900 have been translated into Urdu, are available to us. Now, how do we use those videos in a K to 12 format? So a kid in Badaber or Waziristan or Wana or wherever, Miran Shah, accesses class 1, clicks on it and starts to go through arithmetic 101.
Sure.
तो उस चैलेंज वो है हमारे लिए कि वो K to 12 का जो कंटेंट है ना,
how to get it to the last
how you is what content, for example, and then make sure that it's first available, and then you stream it out. Streaming is easy. The streaming part is really easy. So let me give you various scenarios. Picture this. Picture a gentleman who's going to join us very shortly, Abbas Hussain, perhaps Pakistan's foremost teacher training resource, perhaps one of the best, maybe the best. And he's able to use this platform. I mean, picturing it, he's able to use this platform to train teachers who would never be able to attend Abbas Hussain's Marriott classes or Sheraton classes, at a fraction of the cost. For example, imagine, I'm going to give you another example. Imagine a school in Kurangi, Lanji, which has very poor teacher quality and no content. And then there is the school here, which has great teachers, great content, everything is available. And that teacher is teaching all these satellite schools world-class content. Now, of course, one can argue and say, there's a difference in face-to-face and there's a difference in virtual. Of course there is. There will always be. But there are other elements.
But that bridge has pretty much been, sure there's a difference, but that bridge hasn't minimized.
No, actually, this technology is perhaps even better than face-to-face. I can argue that in the next decade or so, the classroom will really become a clarifying and discussion area rather than a learning area. People will learn before they come.
And holograms not so far.
Oh, and holograms.
CNN already did their last election transmission with holograms.
So let me just say, so there is the elite schools that can benefit from it. There are the schools who don't have as much great quality teachers and educators who can benefit. There are schools who have no teachers that can benefit. Now, there are schools, if you, Faisal, had and I'm sure you have this wonderful spine in you which says, I don't want to do something. All you have to do is say, ये मेरे क्लास है, ये मैंने 4 दीवारी बना दी, 25 बंदों को बिठा दिया, bench लगा दिया, and you have a bench, I'm sorry, you've got a bench, you've got a little TV with an internet connection, and you're on. Right. You've got class 1, class 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can open the university.
You have to set people down and make them walk.
And I'm telling you, this is not theory, this is actually what happens. You could actually run a classroom in your house with 10 kids. And, you take it to the extreme that you have somebody in the house who can actually log on and also start attending classrooms, etc. So what you're saying is, people have this saying, classroom environment, they won't be the class environment, it's people studying from. Hey, listen, those people, if they don't get access, they will never, if they're not allowed out of their houses, how is it?
You mentioned camera permission. Yeah. I'm assuming you're beaming this whole content on regular television as well?
Right now,
because internet stream is a no-brainer.
Internet stream is a no-brainer.
So, but you're also planning to do regular television transmission?
Okay. I don't want to scare the cable TV channel, but I think the cable TV channel will go out of business. I'm serious. I mean, one is that, yes, we will transmit educational content on the internet. We will also, and one of the things is the discussion that we've had with Dr. Atta is, we need to reach people who don't have internet access, right? So who have television access. We need to have some connectivity,
Absolutely.
So there is television, and the television you give them a little black box, as any. The black box actually converts the television into a smart board in a way. So there will be some limitations of connectivity because this is interactive. Students in our platform on the internet can actually chat, they can do audio, they can do video, they can raise their hands. It's like any other learning management system. But people who are on TV will not. So if they want to ask a question, they'll send an SMS. Okay, they're limited. But the fact is, sitting at home, you're learning. So you learn. Or sitting in a classroom in Wana where there is limited internet access or no internet access, you can still run a world-class quality classroom with world-class quality teaching. I'm not saying American, teaching here. So you could teach in Saraiki, you can teach in Pashto, you can teach it, and those are the challenges. So we will have to convert not just content into the Pakistan syllabus, which is available, and some people are doing some amazing work. We've got a group of people who've digitized the entire 9th and 10th since textbook board syllabus, digitized it. And they just heard of it, they came and said, here it is, please use it. These kids made a lot of money in Silicon Valley and they want to give back to Pakistan. So, what I'm finding is that there is so much work already with. Dr. Saab, their center has dark fiber. If we beam from there, we will have no issues with internet, we'll have no issues with bandwidth, we'll have no issues with different.
So the whole resource is available, this is only just putting it all together and harnessing it. Since you mentioned Mr. Abbas is here, let's take a very short break and include Mr. Abbas in, who is the Director of Teachers Development Center. And let's take a discussion further. Let's take a short break.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Perspectives, talking about the innovation in education in Pakistan. We were discussing about new venture with Dr. Atta-ur-Rehman and Mr. Haider Mehdi. We're fortunate that Mr. Abbas Hussain, Director, Teachers Development Center, has also joined us. Thank you very much for coming. You were hearing the conversation. My focus on today's discussion is that we have made a lot of effort over the years, small and big. But now, like Dr. Atta said, 10 years ago, we couldn't have envisioned what technology would do.
Sure.
Today, technology is just opening a different world for us. At my age, I don't think you mentioned iTunes University. I actually download a lot of iTunes U courses, and just while in the car, I watch them on a little screen, which is a 7,000 rupee Android screen, and I sit there and watch, and I have no reason to, but I just watch them because it's fun. You're learning something new. So it's a brand new world. Basai, what next? Where is 2013, 2014 and the world beyond this going to take Pakistan's education?
I would like to kind of introduce, as in the conversation, a very good man called Sugata Mitra. Somebody who did this hole in the wall. Somebody who offered a free computer at the size of the children and said, get on with it. And they did. And the children taught themselves. And the children learned how it worked, which means they completely bypassed the teacher. Now, to my mind, in my experience with the teachers, one of the observations I have is, teachers need to get out of the way. Children are smarter. Children are more web savvy. Children are more tech savvy.
Absolutely.
They have, as is true, the research tells us that all the children born 1989 are Generation Y. That is since 1989. And all the children born 2000 are millennials. These are Generation Z. Which means these children have been living in the full blaze of technology. It's been around them from birth.
Absolutely.
So they have an edge which none of the other teachers in the system have. And to my mind, this is something which, like Charles Handy, we need to turn the thing around. Once upon a time, we used to have an intern, a younger person, working with a senior to, as it were, get the ropes. We now need to turn this around. We now need to have a senior person who will do an internship with an under 20-year-old because he is able to understand the connectivity issues that we have been listening, the way in which how some images will come on JPEG and some won't, and which ones will and which ones won't. And those kinds of things which are now simply beyond a senior person to know. I hope I'm not proving...
No, that's fine.
No, I don't know, I'm proving myself to be...
I was going to say that when you end, you're basically shooting yourself on the foot.
It's the reality. True, I cannot pretend to be born later than I actually was. So, but the point is simply that right now, Pakistan needs to hear this lesson very, very deeply. Teachers need to hear this. Please don't be without email anymore. Please don't be unconnected anymore.
Please don't be not learning now.
Well, yeah. If the children you want to teach, there's a fine sentence, if children won't learn the way we teach, we must teach them the way they learn.
Absolutely.
So if they are not going to listen to your boring hocus pocus without any focus, you need to reach to them in ways that they are able to. So therefore, materials on the web, materials on the internet, those are the ways by which children need to be, and teachers need to get onto the system to get.
You've spent a long time teaching teachers.
Yeah.
Now you just said teachers are becoming redundant, almost.
Yeah.
I also agree, because children in my family, a 6-year-old when going to Bangkok was basically making a plan of where he's going to go thanks to Google.
Precisely.
So it's a dangerous world. They have the world at their fingertips. But do you really think technology alone is going to be enough, or we will continue to create new teachers to handle the new world?
Yes, it must be new teachers. I heard Haider Bhai say this very clearly just now. The issue, you see, it's our perception of what a teacher is. If the teacher was the provider of AVI, Adult Validated Information. So once upon a time, the teacher was the only adult validated information provider.
Very well said.
Now that we have all these other channels of providing, we now need to have in the exact, if you like, Quranic word, Furqan. We need to develop in children a discrimination by which they are able to deal with this huge tsunami of information coming at them, to be able to navigate their way with wisdom, with sense, with perspective on how to benefit from the best. Now, those are the kinds of skills which Google won't give you. Those are the kinds of skills for which you need a mentor, a teacher to give you. And that need will remain. But the fact is, provided the teachers step in and do it.
So teachers are no longer going to deliver information. We have a severe overload. What we need is someone who can make it tangible.
As I said earlier, a paradigm shift is taking place. a movement from teaching to learning. And students with all this material, excellent material, far better than our teachers are able to provide them generally, will be able to study beforehand and come to the classes to clear concepts, things that they have not fully understood perhaps. And the teachers would also then have to work harder and understand what
teachers could be out of their depth.
Absolutely, and I have experienced this myself when I was teaching at Cambridge. When I was a don there for a number of years, and one had to take the undergraduate classes, and they have this tutorial system, and the students come. They are brilliant. They are well prepared. So the teachers, there will be additional pressure on teachers to know what is out there, to know the kind of preparation that the students are going to make, and the kind of questions that they may be faced with. And the classroom will then become a discussion sessions where the concept will be clarified, where the problems are going to be discussed and solved, rather than the largely one-way delivery that we see happening today. So we are experiencing this.
So narrative of textbook is just not going to work anymore.
Absolutely not. It's a complete change, paradigm shift, as I said, which is in the process of
Pakistan. And now my main question: Pakistan is in the epicenter of that change.
Pakistan is in the epicenter of the change. Pakistan is, alhamdulillah, leading that change right now. As I said, the video conferencing facilities, the PERN program, the digital library, all these programs that I mentioned earlier, and now with the launching of this free educational TV, having access to all the material that Stanford or MIT or Harvard have. So we are. I was talking to a top man at the Association of Commonwealth Universities in London yesterday, and he was telling me on telephone. It was a conference call, and he was telling me what they are trying to do in distance learning. And I told him what we have done, and he said, "You are at least 10 years ahead of us. That what we are even just thinking about, what you have already achieved in terms of getting all these courses, getting permissions, integrating them, and having this arrangement now to beam all these programs, broadcast all these programs across the country. We are way ahead." And he said, can you help us? Because we would like to do this in other Commonwealth countries and learn from you. Next month there is a delegation coming from Malaysia, for instance. There are 3 professors who will be seeing what we are doing and see if they can replicate this in Malaysia. And the University of Delhi, 2 months ago, they have approached us. Can we help them? Sri Lanka and Thailand are already interacting with us. So, so Pakistan is just at the tip of an iceberg. And there is a huge, so as I said, this is perhaps the most exciting program that I have undertaken in my life, and which can make a significant difference to the students of this country in the future.
So what you've done now is not the end. This is really just means to an end. What's the end? What's next?
If I knew, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Well, I'm sure you have a game plan.
But
other than how to make money. We'll come to that in a second.
Dr. Atta-ur-Rehman, is also a futurist. And I tell you, we wouldn't have achieved in the last 12 weeks since we contacted him, in perhaps 12 months, as we've achieved in terms of getting the bandwidth that we wanted to make people understand what we do. I'm not going to talk about the education paradigm. That's Mr. Abbas's and Dr. Atta. I'm just going to talk about what the technology platform will enable people to do. Number one, people will be able to access quality teaching and quality content. Period. I mean, there's no two ways about it.
And at their convenience.
At their convenience, 24/7, 365 days a year. It may actually result in a complete shifting of the way even existing schools look at the way they deliver education, which will happen, and these people have talked about it. So I'm not an expert, but I think that is what's going to happen. The pedagogy is going to change in the methodology. I think that. Now, of course, we can get all very excited about it and say, we will reach out to 30 million kids, through this platform. The question is how. Everyone knows the what. The question is how. Okay, so we have the platform with Bima. So how do you manage it? What are the challenges? What are the social challenges, the cultural challenges, or the language challenges? What are the financial challenges? How do you launch it? We're a pro bono enterprise. They're a pro bono enterprise. We're not charging money from anybody at all. Zero. We cannot. Khan Academy has it, written in blood. They said if you charge even one dime by delaying our course, it's gone. So we're not charging it. It's going to be free. So how do you make money? Well, we're not going to make money. We just want it to be functional. So we look at the corporate sector. We say, hey, listen, sponsor a class, sponsor a program, sponsor this, sponsor that. We don't want advertising to, Jif Sweets and Falana Achar. This is education. So we want people to sponsor. We want the government to come and say, it's just the cost of the bandwidth. Why are you charging public sector education people astronomical charges? Did you charge in the commercial sector? Be Robin Hood. Charge the commercial sector higher. Did you say free kare? Public sector education bandwidth availability should be free. 1, 2, it should be sustainable. So, there is no dithering, there is no freezing and all that. And then, you've got technology. So schools would need a nice little screen that you have here, something like that. A school would need a camera.
And I need to keep the screen.
Sorry? You need to keep the screen. We'll take it as a donation from you. You need a camera, you need, some kind of a technology support, all that. Right now, it's coming out of this little wallet that's in my pocket and perhaps some money and all that. So we're doing it, and we will do it. We will continue to do it. We just want to make sure that this hits the ground. This is enough idle talk, enough talk about saying education is a problem, we're this, we're that. Okay, here's the technology, here's the contract, here's the teachers, beam out. Kisko chahiye? Somebody who needs it, take it. Somebody says, no, this will never work, fine, good for them.
I'm going to come to your money needs in a moment. Abbas, I want you to comment. The world assumes that even though we produce fantastic, brilliant, record-setting A-level students with record-setting PhDs, we've got brilliant people, but our assumption is that there are very few of them. That is so. But the other assumption is that the lot is incapable. They are, God forbid, idiots. Is that true? Because when I talk to Dr. Atta-ur-Rehman, he says we've got brilliant kids across the board. Exactly. So we send PhD students, they set records there, they do brilliantly there. So this means of education, if unleashed in, say, June, 2 years later, 3 years later, and dissemination today is not at snail's pace. It's not 1970. Once you launch it, this thing goes ballistic in 24 hours. What are we expecting from Pakistan's brains in 6 months, a year? What's your vision?
I see the country being kind of going headlong into a set of challenges driven by weather, by global warming, by issues of water, issues of ecology and environment. Therefore, direct connections to agriculture and plant, and therefore the growth of food, and therefore food securities and all of those things. Enormous creativity is needed to solve problems where traditional solutions won't work.
You're going to interrupt just a second. You're going to say, what's Abbas talking about? Where did global warming come from? But I just want to make it tangible. I think there's an alert for Pakistan that we will have a water crisis in 2030.
It's on its way.
Well, no, massive water crisis by 2030. That's only 17 years away.
Right. So
I just wanted to make that tangible. That you're not just throwing things, please.
I just want to come back to an earlier. These are what
so we
I'm
need some serious creativity.
So what I'm saying is, if teachers are not going to teach children for creative solutions, and therefore to think outside the box, or better still, to stand on the box and then think. If teachers are not going to do this, and we are doomed, regardless. It isn't just school that will collapse. It will all cultures and societies and everything else that will collapse for straight other. I want to pick on two issues that have emerged in the conversation. I was listening to Dr. and there was somehow I believe that school management, and I'm now talking about senior management, who are in charge of teachers, who in turn are opening up to the children. This teacher interface with the child and the senior management. There's a thing which I would like to, thanks to this program, beam out to the senior management. Recently in a school, I found a good school, a Karachi school, inverted commas, a local school, that in a gathering of 40 teachers, there were 9 teachers who didn't have internet, had access. No, it was in the home. They didn't have a personal email address. And they didn't have, as it were, that kind of interest in wanting to.
I have no need for it.
Exactly. नहीं वो तो मैंने एक अकाउंट बनाया था ना तो वो पासवर्ड ही भूल गए तो 2 महीने हो गए, that sort of thing. Now I believe that the senior management must create artificial hurdles so that there is no question of any teacher being able to remain in the school system without having access, without
without being up to date, if I may say.
Well, there we go.
It may sound harsh, but if you...
No, much more than that, Faisal. Why does my milkman have a mobile phone? Why does my goshtwala have a mobile phone? He knows that it is good for business. With it, I'm able to connect to my customers. I'm able to deliver meat at the right place. I'm able to... Which means a need has been created which he believes won't be fulfilled. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a need for the senior management who belongs to my age group.
To drive this whole thing.
To drive this in a way that teachers simply realize that we won't manage to remain in schools if we are not able to access the information given by the headmistress this morning unless I open up my email and check whether it is there or not.
Sure. These dinosaurs will die. They will die simply because they will not change. And whether senior management tells them or they don't tell them.
Well,
I'm telling you, they will die.
The ice age will take them out.
No,
okay, I want to throw in another thing, which is, I think, close to Dr. Atta's heart, because he's always said that education will solve our problems. There is another problem which lights is going on in my mind, that this project, and you're right, this would be probably the epitome of your projects, is going to an amazing thing. Right now, we are divided into various education systems.
Yeah.
And that is creating a divide within our society. The kind of school you come out of, the kind of teacher you had within the school, your whole mindset is different. A unified education dissemination system, which we have failed to overcome in 60-odd years, you're going to bridge that gap overnight, because it doesn't matter whose child you are, doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter where you are, which school you're actually going to, you can still watch this and maybe challenge your own teacher that he's giving you hogwash, pardon my French.
Yeah, this is going to be a great leveler, and I'll just...
leveler, that's the word.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. It will level the playing field and allow students from different classes, different brackets, different types of schools to get quality education and bridge these differences.
My apologies, I will just ask one very quick question. Your video conference lectures, are they simultaneously being interactive in various countries or just to one classroom?
At the moment, they are being interactive across Pakistan in various universities, and at the same time, Thailand and Sri Lanka have also been benefiting, and other countries want us to...
So when I ask a question in Karachi University, somebody sitting in Bangkok also sees that
question.
Fantastic.
Exactly. So it's really truly...
So it's really a global education.
It is a global education, and it's already working for the last few years, and as I said, there have been more than 2,000 lectures already delivered by top professors from across the world. But I'll just give you a couple of examples of the kind of things that we are doing with these facilities. For instance, one thing, when students come into especially the science streams in our universities, their language is usually quite poor.
Right.
So what we have started is a program for improving their English language skills, and this is being delivered from Sydney, from the University of Sydney in Australia, through distance learning. It's an interactive program again, where students in Pakistan are enrolling into this program. There are a few local teachers hired who first look at the levels and then see what their deficiencies are, and this program is already running, number one.
Fantastic.
Second, when you look at the inter-science stream versus the A-level stream, you find that there are invariably differences. In certain subjects, the inter-science students do not have the same level of competence, problem-solving skills, statistics, and other fields. So we have a program now under which students who are coming in from the inter-science stream can catch up. So a program for a few months where A-level teachers will be able to identify what the deficiencies are. They know what the deficiencies are of the inter-science, and then give extra classes for these first-year students in the university to catch up. Third example, Chinese language. I'm hiring Chinese language teachers from NAML as well as from China, so that we can have teaching through the video conferencing system. And now we are also we have moved out of the constraints of a video conferencing system. We have obtained a national license for a software called Link, and that it's a sophisticated version of Skype that allows hundreds or even thousands of students to log on simultaneously from their homes, from wherever they are, especially the time difference between USA, and yet it remains interactive. And so this is already functioning in Pakistan. This is the Higher Education Commission has obtained this national license, and so we will be moving out of the video conferencing constraints and having this open for all from wherever they are.
I have two questions. One, is all this information, I don't know about all of this. Is this accessible to me as not a student or not? Is this only for students enrolled in universities?
Well, this is primarily because the license, when the license is concerned, whether it's for databases or whether it is for use of software, this is for universities as far as this is concerned.
But what Mr. Mehdi is doing?
But what we are doing together with Pi will be accessible to all.
So I would be able to.
So you will be able to, your children will be able to, your grandmother and your granddaughter will be able to.
Finally, I'd be able to learn something.
So I can tell you, I've actually logged on to register as a student in a course in Coursera.
Yes.
To look at the learning experience and say, how we can, I mean, listen, this is no rocket science. We're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
We're just we're aggregating, we're getting people, futurists like Dr. Atta and, Shami and all these other people and, and getting it together and say, hey, listen, here's the type. So what we're saying is the world today, and you said, give me the end state. There is no end state. Honestly,
it'll just keep evolving itself.
You can't. And by the way, I swear, I tell you, 2 years down the line, the best projection that I can do of the state that will be there, I will be so far off that I don't even want to hazard a projection of what will happen 2 years from now.
Not your 92,000 rupee phone.
You have a Harvard professor sitting here, talking from Harvard, but through his holographic image.
That I foresee. That I foresee about,
perhaps 5 years.
No, actually less.
It should be less.
Because CNN has already done holographic transmission on the Obama election.
Exactly. So there you are. So you have these.
Okay. This is going to cost money.
Yes.
Are you taking investors? And I say investors, not donators.
No.
Because investing in our
this is not a business. Faisal, I want to say.
I do not call anybody who donates or funds such a project as an investor in our own future.
Okay. So,
are we taking investors?
So we're looking at 3-4 sources of funds.
Please.
Clearly, one is that we will be looking for grants from organizations that support such kind of venture. For example, the ICT fund today, chaired by the Secretary or the Federal Secretary of Information, when they heard about this project, they said, we'd be very happy to fund parts of this project. Please send us a proposal. So stuff like that. Dr. Atta-ur-Rehman, with his international stature and all that, and already talking to people and people who want to fund, I don't want to sound really ambitious, but who knows, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation may fund.
Why not?
No, because we've actually been told by people who've been funded by them, who are also our content partners, said, once you get this going, they will come and say, hey, listen, so that's one. The second is we will look at sponsorships and look at the commercial sector and look at to be able to help us project this. And then we're going to be looking at people who do some fantastic work today, So, hey, what do we need? We need resources to pay the technical people that we'll have. We need resources, TV, some cameras, bandwidth, perhaps fund some schools, ask Dr. Abbas to do teacher training pro bono. So there are operational expenses that will come, and we're very sure. I am convinced the kind of money that people are willing to put in a project, which is clean, transparent, open, there's no hidden agendas, people are not making for money, people will fund it. So I honestly...
come on, no hidden agenda?
No hidden agenda. Yes, there is. Make Pakistan a better country.
Me. You're not even a CIA agent?
I wish I was. I wouldn't be sitting here.
Who does this kind of work in Pakistan without being a CIA agent?
Yeah. The CIA, please, available for sale.
As long as you pay well.
And vocational education, I must say. That's something we haven't talked about, developing skill sets.
Yeah.
That's something, it's a huge area, and that's something that I'm also now focusing on, which will be built into that program.
So it is already part. So there is regular education, K to 12, undergrad, and then there's vocational training.
And daily problem solving. How to fix your pump and how to...
Absolutely.
Turning to costs, there is some reflection to be made about whether public service education, called free, is actually free or not. How much does it cost per month per child? And what kind of education is being delivered to that child? From Khotki to Dharki to Matiari to Tandwalaya to Sangar to places where I visited and seen some awful, grim stuff. And at the same time, there is this private sector, so-called profit-making school, very humble, very simple, What are the numbers like? Here are some numbers coming from my own work. 1,300 rupees per child per month in a public sector school giving putrid education. And 800 rupees per month per child for an education per low cost, very nominal, none of those very big ambitions, but giving the child confidence, giving the child the will to learn, those things. Now surely we need to ask, hey, hold it. Why is 1,300 rupees producing this? And why is it? So I believe a very good resource of funding should be and could be GOP being told, stop putting money into this siphon, this waste, and give it over to those who do know what to do. And they, with very little, will be able to do much.
I can actually cite this example of Sami Mustafa doing 84 government schools in Lodra. These are government schools in government buildings, taught by government teachers, and look at the quality of people that they're producing. These guys do art, horticulture, they do taekwondo, and they speak English, they speak. And so this is a guy who has a platform, who knows how to do it, correct, and is being funded by a great citizen, and not a politician, but Jangir Tareen is funding it out of his own money, 6 million a year, 60 million, 6 crore, and those schools are humming, and this is supposedly the heartland of southern Punjab terrorism, and there are co-education classes take place, forced on these people by the locals, that we don't care.
I've got about 3 minutes. I would like to do a comment, please.
Well, I would like to just say that Pakistan has about 100 million out of the 180 million population below the age of 19. That's about 56% of our population is below 19. That is the real wealth of Pakistan. And those countries that have realized that their future lies in their children, in their ability to unleash the creative potential through a high quality education system, and then provide them with opportunities to then demonstrate that creativity in life. Those are the countries which are marching forward. If Pakistan is going to stand up with dignity in the Committee of Nations, it has to be on the basis of quality education to its youth. If we don't take this road of quality education, these very children will become a burden for us tomorrow. So we have no other way out than to invest in our real wealth, which is our children. They are our future.
Basha,
just picking up from that, the real wealth creators of any country, parents and teachers. Ultimately, it comes down to these two groups of people who turn these under 19-year-olds into creative individuals who will then contribute. That's one line. The other kind of, I just want to pick up on this one nugget. Carl Rogers put it in wry humor. If only teachers taught less, children might learn something.
Right. Closing comments, sir.
Closing comments, technology is a force multiplier. The only way people will have access to quality education in Pakistan and quality teaching in Pakistan of the same level, value, and quality that the elite in Pakistan have. Technology is the only platform that allow them. I mean, of course, there will be some organic growth and will happen, but this is the only way to go. There is no other option. We don't have time. This will, I think, we're a year from now, I think talking April or March next year, I think we'll probably have maybe 5 million, maybe 10 million learning through this platform.
So, a quick question, what's the launch date?
Well, we have...
I'll help you.
Yes, please go ahead.
We have a pilot launch date.
Right.
With Dr. Atta is a very, very hard task. He's like a slave driver. So he's given us a week to do the pilot launch.
Right.
We hope that the first pilot launch of this project will be up and running within a week. And we will give you a username and password, and you can log on and learn.
I will hold you to that.
Arithmetic 101. Y is 2.
I will hold you to that.
I hope so.
And I'm already requesting you that immediately after the pilot launch, We'll do a show here.
Okay.
We'll show it to the world.
All right.
If that's okay.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
You have my word, you have my commitment, we'll do it. Thank you very much, all of you, for taking time out. I'd like to admit something. A lot of people complain that why am I always so negative? I am negative because I'm a realist. I see huge problems. Dr. Atta mentioned population under 19. That's what scares me. That's what used to scare me. That population, I used to believe is a lost generation because they have not been educated, they have not been given an environment which has given them good core values. They have been confused in the name of religion, in the name of war on terror, in the name of ethnicity. They have been absolutely divided and shattered. I have always believed that we've missed the bandwagon and we will never be able to bring them together. But to be honest, and I really mean from the bottom of my heart, discussion with these two gentlemen today has rekindled my hope in this generation. Because now I know that at my age, I would be able to learn things which I furloughed when I was young, and I did not learn. And I have, to be very honest, in my shame and embarrassment of things that I could have learned at 18, I've been watching iTunes University trying to pick up things. I've been watching Harvard business courses, and I've been watching Stanford courses just to pick up new things, learn new things. Another discussion which is very rampant in Pakistan is that parents are no longer able to teach their children their homework because children, their course materials ahead of them, and parents have felt bad about it. This changes that game. Khan Academy has already been doing it, but this really brings it to your home. This gives children capability to learn enormous amount of things. You do not have to depend on YouTube and bandwidth. It's going to come to your home. Now, if you don't learn and better yourself, your problem and your mistake. You no longer have an excuse that Pakistan doesn't have opportunity. Pakistan, there's no learning opportunity. It's the government's fault. It's the minister's fault. Yeah, it's everybody's fault. But here's an opportunity. Take it, and God willing, we will be doing a show on this within a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, whenever the gentlemen are ready, and we will show you what Pi TV, Dr. Atta-ur-Rehman are doing. Thank you. Once again, all of you, until next time, good night.
Pleasure.